So my name is Pohl. I'm one of the teachers of the course Umweltproblemlösen. I work at the TD lab of the Department of Environmental System Sciences, the Transdisciplinarity lab, which is much involved in teaching. And one of our big classes is called Umweltproblemlösen. Another person involved there, Marlene Mader, she is here too. And Marlene, you correct me if I'm telling rubbish, please. The course is a one-year course that is mandatory for all students in the first year of the Bachelor Environmental Sciences. So we have around 150 students, and the students mostly work in groups over the whole year. So you see here a picture of how the course is usually taking place. The main focus of the course is that we take a topic, a sustainability topic every year somewhere in Switzerland. This year it was sustainable river management in the Oberengadin. And then within that topic, we identify people in the Oberengadin who are important to work on that topic, like mayors of different villages, Pontresina and Bever in the Oberengadin, with which we collaborate. And then in the first semester, we analyze the topic. And in the second semester, which was the last one, students mostly work self-organized, identify a specific sustainability problem they want to work on. And then together with interacting with stakeholders from the area, they have to develop solutions to the problem and to build prototypes. And as you can see, I mean, as I said, this is mostly taking place in interactions, be it within the groups. Those are mostly groups of 7 students that work together, or interaction with us or with tutors or with stakeholders. So what happens to such a class in Corona times, in online times? What did we do? What did we do differently? And in principle, I would say we did mostly the same as we did before online. This is the list on the left-hand side. I mean, we didn't really change a lot of things in how we organized the class, but we did them via Zoom. So for instance, we did 5 pre-recorded lectures, as probably all of you. We offered office hours on Moodle. This is on the bottom in gray. But then we also, as we normally do, had the tutors, which are second and third year bachelor students, offered coaching to the student groups and did workshops. We do that usually, but they did it online this time. That worked somehow. On the right-hand side, on the top right-hand side, you see a picture of a workshop on building prototypes. So prototyping is very important if you want to create measures. And here the students apparently had to build their prototypes on their own at home, but somehow it worked. We also organized a World Coffee, which is basically, we said, well, there's those 4 hours on this Wednesday. And then we asked every group to organize, each of the 24 student groups, we asked them to, in a specific time frame, to organize a group discussion on a question they're interested in. And then they would define the Zoom room, they would define the topic, and other students would just join to discuss whatever question is relevant to the students. Those might be questions on the course, on the class. This might be questions on how to reach stakeholders, whatever. I think that also worked rather well, because the students could exchange peer-to-peer and could define whatever questions they're interested in. We also asked groups, so we have regular feedbacks with the groups, 3 during the semester, and we also asked groups to invite us, student groups, and to organize the meeting on their own, which is part of how we do it regularly, but this worked now online, worked quite well. Sometimes I got the invitation like 5 minutes before the meeting. That was perhaps a bit hard, but it worked. Also, the tutors organized the final marketplace, which is the bottom picture of that is at the bottom right of a presentation of the students. In this marketplace, we usually present, the students present all the measures they have developed to other students, to stakeholders from the area, to us lecturers. And what you can see on the bottom right is that they did fantastic animations and presentations. So this is one group that addressed the topic of invasive species in the Oberengadin, Lupinen. And then in this picture, you see that the community of Samaden and the community of beaver have to collaborate when they want to fight this invasive species in a kind of a sustainable way, long-term way. So what worked well, what not? We had very early in the semester, I guess you remember, this evaluation, whether the students think that online teaching works, and our course got a 3.3, which is quite bad. I think the average of ETH was a 4. So students basically said, for us, the Fernunterricht in this class does not really function very well, way beyond the mean of ETH courses. And for us, the question was, is it our online teaching that is so bad, or is it the kind of class that we give? And so we asked at the end of the semester, in the last week, all our students several questions. 2 of them you can see here. One was, is the online teaching in UPL in our class, is that compared with other classes easier, same, or more difficult? And it was like 80% of the around 100 students that participated that said, well, in this specific form of class, online teaching is really creating difficulties. Then we tried to ask more in detail what causes these difficulties, what parts are specifically difficult of the class, and just had a list and then just rated it. And as you can see, parts that need or require interactions, be it contacting stakeholders with outside people from the Engadin, be it to coordinate the work in the group, be it to work specifically on the project, are difficult, and parts that can be done by a clever division of labor, like writing a documentation, writing fact sheets, building a system model, doing a sustainability assessment where we have like clear procedures, are easy to do in a lockdown situation. So that was my take home, I think, from that is some parts of it can be done very easily, that are well structured, where you can do a division of labor. Parts that require close collaboration or co-production of knowledge are more difficult. So what do we take home from that? That's my last slide. For the next, what do we take home from that? My last slide for the next years. I think my main insight is how well students master the online world way far beyond Zoom, how clever they are and how familiar they are with this world. And I mean that also for the type of presentations they did at the market, for the animations they did when they presented their measures at the marketplace. So I think that's something I'll take with me. We have so many presentations in our in our physical classes. Why don't we give them more freedom in finding other ways, movies, animations to present what they did? So I think that's something that will certainly take for the next years. On the left-hand side, the picture that you see is from the final event. The final event, the marketplace is like 2 hours in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and the tutors asked the different groups to collectively work on a photo love story. This is the different characters that they invented, and then every group had to play one scene of this photo love story over lunch. They did that just to distract, and then we went back to the market, hard work. And at the evening, they presented the whole story. That was great stuff. What I also learned, or what we also take with us, is that online teaching might be more adequate for lectures that focus on knowledge transfer rather than on knowledge co-production, building things together, which is very important in our class. And more specifically in that, I think that steps in this developing a project, when the students have to develop a project, the steps that need collective thinking and brainstorming might not really be feasible online and might require personal meetings. So thank you.